Morning everyone and happy Easter. I'm actually recording this on Easter Sunday because I'm out on my daily walk with police dogs Bede and Vesper. I know children like to hear about them. So if you're watching this later in the week, happy Easter to you all. So just a couple of thank yous at this stage. Thank you to all the children and families who've been sending work in for Bede's TV. I've absolutely loved following your progress and seeing all the wonderful creations that you've made. Keep sending them. And also a huge thank you to Miss Jenkinson, who officially leaves us at the end of this term. You remember me writing to you before earlier in the year, but I just want to say thank you for all the hard work and wish you from the whole of the St Bede's community all the best in your new job. Keep sending the work everybody. Happy Easter. Bye.
Hello, and wasn't that nice to see Mrs. Wassell? It's only taken a month for her to appear. It's a little bit like the Queen, isn't she? She speaks when she wants to, not on demand. She's not some sort of televisual puppet. Anyway, here we are at the end of week 4. We've done a month. Can you believe it? I hope you've had a great Easter and that you've had plenty of chocolate. That's what Easter's all about for some, quite religious for others. But whatever you've done, I hope you've had a great time. Now, there's still been plenty of things coming in, not as much as a normal week, but that's understandable because it's been Easter and many of us have probably had a little break from our academic work. But there's still been lots of photographs and videos, so that's where we'll start. Now remember, you can still send your work to your teachers, that's great, and they'll put it on their class web pages. But if you want to take fresh pictures to be included in this particular programme, then this is when we'll cover them. So we'll start by having a look at Amelie. Now, as you can see, Amelie's been getting up to all sorts. Nice bit of ice cream going on there, looks like a movie night. Been out in the garden doing her crafts. And of course, keeping fit and sending lovely messages to the great people who are working with the NHS. Nice to see Mr. Lappin here. Been out doing his exercise, gone to see Keppel's column, doing his written work, and then very, very domesticated from hoovering to preparing a meal. That's really good to see. I think we are going to get lots of really good chefs coming back to school. And if I could have relied on anyone, it was going to be Alex. It looks like from these pictures he's managed to actually build his car as part of the primary engineer project. As you can see there, it's looking good, looks complete, extremely well made. Now the only thing we need to know is, can it move? And of course it was my fault, I didn't give everybody those split pins. So have you worked out, Alex, how to get power to that motor and hopefully make it go forwards and backwards? Maybe you could drop us a line and let us know. Now this is something quite special from Anya. She's made and decorated a wonderful tree house in her garden, like a little home from home. Rebecca looks to have been very busy, lots of work going on there, as well as a bit of time on the trampoline and out doing her exercise. Keeping up a science education there, spotter baking, and then even helping out around the house with the painting of the fence. Now when this first came through, I thought someone had sort of like drained the bottom of the engine pond. But no, it's a waste not, want not type meal from our Mrs. McDougall. And she's even been so kind as to send the recipe. McDougall's homemade spicy potato scratchings. I am assured they taste delicious, and with the recipe there you might want to give it a go yourself. This was very sweet from Ruby and Paige. They spent a lot of the time on the build up to Easter weekend making homemade Easter cards, and they made enough to deliver one to every single person on their street, which is a really, really kind thing to do. And looking at some of the other messages that came in there, people really appreciated it and even sent them some Easter eggs as a little thank you. So well done, girls, that's really good. Now Olivia and Ethan are going for what probably is the best bit of baking so far. Just look at that cake. And it's all the more special when you cut into it, because look at that, a rainbow. Each layer is a different colour. I've got to say that is my favourite bit of baking so far that's come in. And the reason that they did that is for Grandma, who's living with them at the moment, and it was her birthday, so they did it to mark that very, very special occasion. Well done, hope you all had a great day. Thomas has been very busy with a range of activities. Spotter baking, Easter egg decorating, another one painting the fence. All these jobs are getting done. And once again, Alex from F1 has been very, very busy. Very busy young man is our Alex. Lots of seasonal arts and crafts, bit of baking, some amazing artwork. And then the next set of pictures were all about Wet Monday. Now, Wet Monday is something Mr. Beaumont usually knows about if he's been in the Colin Campbell most of Sunday. But actually, Wet Monday is a Polish tradition, and I know this because I'm reading my book all about Poland. And it's what we know as Easter Monday, but what bit of a Polish tradition is they make water bombs and get all sorts of water buckets and things out, and they just throw water all over each other. A great tradition, and they kept it up. Alex from F1 on their drive here, as you can see, water bombs and hose pipes. Looks really good fun, upholding what is a Polish Easter tradition. And then not many from school this week. It has been a bit of a quiet week. Maybe people have taken a bit of time off. But Miss Long sent us this from Key Stage 1 of just some of the activities that have been going on in the woodland area at school, because it's been a gorgeous week weather-wise. And I'm sure that accounts for what most of us have been doing. We'll probably have been spending a lot more time in the garden, which is absolutely brilliant. Remember, you can keep sending your photos, your artwork, your schoolwork, all to the class or the Key Stage email addresses, as you can see there. And then if you can take any fresh or different pictures to send them to the television channel, send them to me directly on that one, and we'll include them next Friday when it's episode 5. Now, the good weather has driven a lot of us outside, and it hasn't stopped us keeping fit. As you can see, Mr. Lapping doing his Joe Wicks in the garden, but Emily getting all the family involved as well.
Watching on the sofa, jump up, join in, have some fun together, and you're just going to feel so good for it. You're going to feel amazing after this workout. So nice big circle backwards. Same again, we're going to rotate. So basically go.
Everything is cancelled. Everything is bad because of COVID-19. Everything is cancelled. And we're stuck in quarantine.
And then this was a bit sneaky from Anya's dad. Could she follow absolutely everything that he did?
Do you think you can win a chocolate egg from me?
Yeah.
I bet you that you cannot do everything I do. Copy me exactly.
Okay.
Do you think you can copy me? Go on then. We'll get to go then. Watch this.
Now, not being able to get to the leisure centre or leaving your house really doesn't stop you getting involved or practising your hand-eye coordination, as you can see here with Mrs. McDougall, and then two that you won't really want to mess with when you see their kickboxing skills.
Going down.
And if you can remember that we always film landscape, long ways on, it just helps fill the screen. Absolutely brilliant to see. Keep those clips coming in. Now, Dame Vera Hart in Class 4 has come up with a brilliantly creative suggestion, and I instantly fell in love with the idea, and I think we can do it. I think St Bede can rise to this challenge. We need about 30 families to get involved, because it involves marking the occasion of VE Day. Now, on the 8th of May, which is only a couple of weeks away, that would have been a national celebration. It was going to be a bank holiday, but who needs a bank holiday right now? It is a Friday, so it will be one of our broadcast days. And it's a day when we were hoping that people would decorate their houses in red, white and blue, because it marks the end, 75th anniversary of the end of World War II as such. It was when Nazi Germany unconditionally surrendered, and it kind of marked the end of the war. And this year, being 2020, there were huge celebrations planned, and we would have been doing an awful lot in school, but that doesn't have to stop us. Because Mrs. Hart's wonderful idea is that we get about 30 or so families involved, and we sing the song We'll Meet Again, which is quite apt, being as we're all stuck at home. Now, the end of World War II was a huge celebration and a very significant moment in our nation's history. And although this current situation is nowhere near the same as what was happening back then, that sense of isolation is around, and we need to perhaps show that we're all together, which is partly why we do this programme. But this song, I think we could do it and get it ready, and then we could play it on the 8th, and it will be all the more special to celebrate this amazing part of our history. So what do we need you to do? Well, we need each family to sing one line each from the song. And if you record it and then package it up and send it to me, I'll then hopefully be able to edit all the pieces together, and we'll be able to put that to the music, and hopefully it will make a song. Now, for this to work, there are some rules, I'm afraid, and here they are. The first rule is that it has to be filmed in landscape. That's really, really important. We won't be able to use clips unless you've filmed them landscape. Now, the next rule is you can't have any sound. It's just got to be you singing. No background noises, no distractions. I have made a video of all the lines sort of put together, and things like these might be good for one person to wear, or a couple of you could wear, hide them behind your hair or whatever, so you can at least hear the music to be able to sing along. Or you'll just have to practice. The song is a little bit slower than perhaps we might be used to, so it might take you a few goes to get it right. And if it really mismatches the music, I might have to send it back and ask you to do it again. But if you practice, then you should be able to get the speed, and especially if someone can tune in with this, that'll help keep the tempo and everybody else can join in. And then the other rule is about where you film. Ideally, you'd sit reasonably close to the camera, whatever you're going to film it on. Try and fill the frame. So don't sit, totally the opposite end of the room or in the garden. You can do it outside if you have got a quiet garden, if it's not too busy or the birds aren't chirping too loudly. But if you live near a main road or something like that, it's probably best to do it indoors. And in terms of who's in your video, it could just be you, or it could be your entire family. You might want to let Grandad know about it and get him to do it, Nan, whoever. It's entirely up to you. The creative side is entirely what you want to do. If you want to decorate your house, if you want to green screen something, mock up a street party, whatever it happens to be, you can decide. And then it's a case of, can you get the video to me? Now, we don't need you to sing the whole song. Need to be very clear about that. All you need to do is sing your particular line, the line before and the line after, because what that will do, that will give me enough space to make the cuts in the edit, because that'll be the tricky bit. So long as I've got enough footage before and after your particular line, then it should work. Now, this was Mrs. Hart's idea, and as an example, she's done the 3 lines that we needed her to do. She's got line 2, so she's sung line 1, done her line 2, and then sang line 3 as well.
We'll meet again. Don't know where. Don't know where.
Beautiful bit of singing there, carried by a daughter, I think, there in that particular one. But that's exactly it. If you just sing those 3 lines, the video file shouldn't be too big in that case, and it should email through. But if you need to send it via Messenger to the 150 Heritage page on Facebook or something like that, there'll be ways of getting the footage to me. But it shouldn't be a massive file if you just do those 3 lines. Now, like I said, we need about 30 people. The first and the second line have gone, and the very last line have gone, and all the rest are available. And we need you to sign up for one if you fancy it. I'm sure there must be 30 families out of the 300 odd families we've got that would want to take part in this. And it will make a really special video. So in order to preview the song, what you need to do is go onto the St Bede School website, go to the Creative tab at the end, and as you can see, the second one down there is called Our Videos. And if you click on that, it will take you to the very video at the top, and it's like a karaoke style version of the entire song. So you can listen to it and you can practice and hopefully get it absolutely spot on. So I'm going to put this particular picture on Facebook at the end of this episode, and you can sign up your family. It will help, I think, if we keep them in order. So the first family that are up for it could take line 3, and then the next one line 4 and 5 and so on. And we'll get all the way down to we've hopefully filled it. If we can't get 30, I might ask some people to double up and do another one. But I'm absolutely sure out of our school community for such an important anniversary event that we'll be able to do this. Yeah! So please sign up if you are interested. It will make something very, very special. And don't worry if you can't sing. Mrs. Wassell is great at many things, but singing is not one of them. But that hasn't stopped her having a go. I did kind of put the Wassells under extreme pressure, but I'll show you what I mean. I've got the first 2 are done. I'll show you what it's like to hear line 1 and line 2.
We'll meet again.
Don't know where.
Yeah, so you get the idea. Hopefully you're going to go with a little bit more enthusiasm than Jacob Wassell there. Thank goodness the fate of our nation doesn't lie in his hands. If ever there's a world war, I think it'd have to be played out on Xbox for him to take any sort of active role. Smile, Jacob, smile. So go and have a look on Facebook for this particular post. It'll be up there shortly after this programme's finished. Sign your family up, just in the comments box, write the line number and your family name, and hopefully we might even get that filmed today. And although it's not on the 8th of May, the editing part of this is massive, and it will take me quite a long time. So the sooner you can get it done, the better. Maybe spend this weekend thinking about it, practicing, decorating the house, try and film it early part of next week and send them in. That would be a massive help and greatly appreciated. But it will be special, I'm sure of it. Now, you might remember last week we set you the challenge, an engineering type challenge of designing a product that meets a real world problem. This is part of a national competition where children are encouraged to design things, and the wonderful people at Strathclyde University actually make it into a real thing. Now, I did wonder what this was when my email box pinged and the subject line said, Polly the Poop Packer. But it turned out it was Olivia's design. It's ingenious. She's seen a real world problem there of irresponsible dog walkers, perhaps not picking up after their dogs. So she's designed sort of like a modern day pooper scooper. And there's a picture of it there and how it works. And she's written her letter to accompany her design. That's absolutely brilliant. And I can see that being a thing. And then Thomas has designed what you best describe this as a reverse microwave. It's like a blast cooler. It instantly freezes things and chills things, and I think we can all relate to that while the weather's been so good this week. Again, a very ingenious design from Thomas. He's looked at what is a problem and he's tried to come up with a solution. Absolutely brilliant. But that's it. They were the only 2 designs. Maybe we've had a bit of downtime from academic work and challenges during the Easter break, because they were the only 2 that we got. And there were 4 highly valued gold coins up for grabs here. And so who do we give them to? I was going to ask Mrs. Wassell to judge this one, but I spoke to her on the phone just last night, and we both agreed for the effort that you've gone to, that you both actually deserve the coin. So you've 4 each. Absolutely well done for making the effort. As you can see, that puts you in second place on the Gold Coin League for that absolutely huge honour and highly valued prize when we get back to school. Well done. I'm very, very proud of you both. Brilliant designs, actually, and I'm going to send them on to the national competition. We'll get those in as well. So you might not have seen the end of those. And if you are in class 7, don't, if you've started to think about an idea but you didn't get round to it, don't dismiss it, because if we get back to school while you're still in class 7, then we will be doing this to accompany the card designs as well. Now, there's been a lot of talk about magic this week. I think it's with Dynamo being on the television. My nephew Luke's done nothing but talk about Dynamo and all his tricks. And I've got to confess, I am a fan of magic. Not so much watching it, more performing it. I like card tricks. A lot of card tricks are based on mathematics. Very interesting thing to get into. Fascinating, really, to see. And if you want to look up who I consider to be the best card magician and sort of con artist that's ever been, look up Ricky J on YouTube. He is phenomenal, and the skills he's got with a deck of cards are just out of this world. If you could try and copy anything that he could do, then that would be interesting to see. So this week's challenge, which is for five gold coins, is for you to perform a magic trick. Now, performing magic tricks is not easy. Let me try one on you right now. Let's show you some cards. Here are 6 random cards coming through. Take a look at them very quick. You haven't got long. Pick one. Remember it. Confirm it to your mind, and let me give them a little shuffle. I'll shuffle them up, mix them all up, and we'll lay them all out. Now I'll take one away. I'll take that one, and then we'll reveal them all over. Did I manage to remove your card? Amazing. But you know how that works, I'm sure. I think we've done that before.
What?
So this challenge is all about you performing a magic trick. Now, there are lots of reveals on YouTube. You might have books about magic. Maybe you've got a little magic set at home. Often you get them at Christmas or whatever, but you've never dug it out and had a go with it. It will need you to practice, and it will need you to do some research and get other people involved perhaps. But pick the best trick that you know, film it and send it in, because that is this week's challenge. And the key things that will put you in chance of winning those 5 coins are: how spectacular is the trick, and how well is it performed by you. So you might have to practice it a couple of times. And don't go for any major illusion. Please don't try and saw your brother in half or do something death-defying. The big illusions that you see on TV often have camera tricks involved. And I'm not going to rule out camera tricks. If you can do some magic that involves that, that's fine. It's all about being spectacular and how well you perform it. I'm sure this will appeal to lots of you. I'm sure you're ready to get back into this weekly challenge, having had a week off. So we'll look forward to receiving all the videos that come in of just how amazing you can be with your magic and how brilliant you can be at presenting it, and we'll pick a winner and award those 5 stars next week. And of course, we'll make all the videos up into one long magic show and put that on YouTube separately as well. Now, maybe if you've had a bit of time off this week, you might not have done over much on your books, and that's fine. It's not something that you have to do every day. Maybe just as and when the ideas pop into your mind. The important thing is writing them down or capturing them at the time. I've been busy all week doing a little bit of behind the scenes work on the imposers, and I started with Spectre, and I've managed to actually get him moving. I've animated him, as you can see here. I can do a full 360, blink, move his eyes, talk, and that might not look overly spectacular, but there's a lot of work gone into that, because we've never had characters that could do a full 360. They've always been very two-dimensional, the Woodall's characters, and you very rarely see the back of them because we've never had that imagery. So because I've had the time, I built Spectre to function and be fully operational in 6 different angles, head on, other side, or completely from reverse. So we'll be able to do a lot more with these characters than we've ever done before. And yesterday I started to get a little bit clever and try to look at 3D animation, where we can really change the filming perspective of our characters. Still need to do a little bit of work on that because it looked very flat in that particular test, but we will get there. So the one thing that's missing is the actual story, and you need to develop that. How big are these characters? Are they as small as him there on the shelf? Here he is joining us, as you can see, or maybe he's as big as this. You might want him this size. He's been and got himself a copy of today's Advertiser, a particularly good read if you want to get hold of a copy. But we don't know any more. Off he goes, disappearing. He's probably going to read his paper. How big they are, where they live, what they do, it's entirely up to you. The one thing I always find the hardest part of any of this filmmaking process is actually writing the script. So the ideas that you can come up with, whether you can write a full script or just a bullet list of ideas, maybe a scene, develop one particular character, we desperately, desperately need your ideas and your content and your creative thinking to be put down in your writing. So hopefully come September, particularly for year 4, who will then be year 5, we'll be good to go. Now, not much by the way of artwork this week, except for this outstanding piece from Lily Hopper. Hugely talented, very, very creative, very well coloured, very neat, looking absolutely amazing. And then the kindest thing, I went out to walk Cooper the other day and there was a little foil package on the doorstep, and Lily had very, very kindly made me a bun. And it was beautiful. I'm just not quite sure about the 2 little ball bearings on the top. I don't know if they were a trap from your grandmother. I've already lost enough teeth with my mountain biking accident. I couldn't really risk losing any more, but the bun itself was absolutely delicious. Thank you, Lily. It made my day, really kind. And maybe Grandma could take some, just a pinch of your kindness, because she did some baking in the week as well, and it was against her better judgment to let Mr. Sharp have one. She was going to let me, but it was against her better judgment. So in that case, I didn't bother. Do let us know if it's your birthday. It's really difficult for us all to celebrate birthdays at the moment, but if we can give you a mention and help make your day extra special, then we'd love to hear from you. I'd hate to miss anybody, so please, just drop me a line if it is your birthday over the coming week. There's one for us in school. It's Mrs. McCormack's birthday, tomorrow in fact. We never reveal a lady's age, but what we do hope is that Mrs. McCormack has a superb day, enjoys it with her family, and hopefully the weather will keep good, so you could maybe have a little house garden party or something like that. Although I think it is forecast rain tomorrow. And then the day after, it's Nico's birthday. Nico turns 9. Happy birthday, Nico. I hope you have a great day, enjoying it with your family, and you'll have a party, and I'm sure all your friends will FaceTime you as well. And as you can see, he looks to be keeping really, really busy. He's built himself a racetrack for all his cars, and they've been out getting their exercise. There they are, walking the canal with big brother Lorenzo. Great to see that you're keeping busy, and we hope, like I say, you have a great day on Sunday, Nico. Staff challenge time. Now, did you see the heat from this last week, children? Beggars belief, really. You might remember Mrs. Bunclark and Mrs. Chadbourne did their challenge, and they weren't asked to, but what they did was they decided to nominate as well. Now, we don't need to do that. I think they're kind of missing the point here. This is the part of the show that you own. I suppose you own it all, really. This is the part that you control. Now, you keep sending your suggestions in and your email ideas, and we'll get them on the screen. And the idea is that we'll see as many different members of staff as we possibly can. But what they did was they nominated me, Mrs. Chadbourne, and then Mrs. Bunclark. And what they don't realise is that 9 of you also nominated me. So I'd got 11 nominations last week. Wow! So I'm in one of those situations that you just cannot win. If I'd have done one, they'd have said, oh, he's picked the easiest one, or he didn't want to do mine, so he's done that one because it was easy. You can't win, children. You cannot win. This is St Bede's TV, not Challenge Sharpie. The idea is that we see as many different members of staff in this section. So please keep your email suggestions coming in. If you've not seen your teacher or a particular member of staff, write in. Let us know. We'll set them the challenge for next week. Maybe you want to see Cook in Charge do the fandango, or Mrs. Williams juggling some melons. You're very much in control. You decide, and we'll try and include as many as we can. I do hope that's cleared things up to the ladies, Mrs. Bunclark and Mrs. Chadbourne. I wish I could read you, children, the profanity and name-calling and personal, hurtful messages that were streaming in from those ladies. Perhaps put the cauldron stirring spoons down. Maybe send the broomsticks for an MOT while it's quiet. Let go your anger. It's a bit of fun. Focus on the happiness that you brought. All the comments about how you made people laugh. Don't try and entrap people. Don't shroud yourself in this anger. It's not good in ladies of your age. There's enough stress around at the moment. This is meant to be light-hearted fun. Hopefully that's cleared things up. So to this week's challenges, we've got Mr. Swan and Mr. Booth. Now, Mr. Booth was set the very, very difficult task. It sounds easy, this, but it's very, very difficult. Can you eat 6 cream crackers, dry cream crackers, in a minute? Let's see how he goes on.
Good afternoon, and thanks for making a challenge, Mr. Sharp, and hello at Bede's TV. I've been set the challenge of eating 6 cream crackers in under a minute. Timer at the ready. Probably should have unlocked the phone first. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Someone's ringing me. I'll just go behind. One more, Dad. You can do it. Stop timer. Stop the timer.
I failed.
You did it,
Well,
Dad.
I was very close.
You did it. You did it.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant attempt there, sir. I think you did it, personally. You didn't see the contents of your mouth, like, but I think you were virtually there. And your daughter, obviously, she thinks you did it, encouraging you along there. Brilliant. Well done. You get yourself your tick for having a go. Now, Mr. Swan, on the other hand, he didn't fancy it at all. I think he'd been set up to be kind of humiliating. And a 5-minute challenge is too long. No one wants to see Mr. Swan in his lycra for 5 minutes prancing around, surely. So on this particular occasion, Mr. Swan is a no-go, did not attempt. And I saw Mr. Swan yesterday. He was out walking Ziggy with his son, and we were talking about this. And he said he's desperate to do a challenge, but one that's realistic and not targeted. By a member of staff, should I say. So, children, if you can think all week and get your ideas for Mr. Swan, we'll give him a chance to get rid of that red cross and turn it into a green tick. And we'll challenge him next week. But I need your ideas, and we need to give him some tasks that could be challenging but doable. I'll leave that up to your creativity. Probably best not to involve food. He's not a big eater, is Mr. Swan, doesn't like to eat. So when it comes to this week, let's have a look. The 2 that we're going to go for are, where was it? This one I think is very doable, and it's for Mrs. Wassell. And they obviously know Mrs. Wassell very well, because the challenge is this. Can Mrs. Wassell run around the track in 90 seconds, the blue part of the track. Now, you obviously know that she's into her running. She loves to run. She's always out with the Kimwood Striders when she can. If not, she runs alone at the moment. She's probably in school right now. In fact, I know that she is, and she might be able to do this today. So can you run around the track, Mrs. Wassell, in 90 seconds, the blue part of the track? However, the big challenge bit here is run backwards. Now, I don't know, can you run around the track in 90 seconds? I think it's 10 times round for a mile. That would be 15 minutes. You know, it's got to be doable, that. I'm sure it must be. And if anyone wants to rise to the challenge, it will be Mrs. Wassell, I'm sure. She might need a little bit of guidance. Maybe someone shouting instructions or where to turn or whatever. So we'll leave it up to her. But 90 seconds running backwards around the track. And then the other nominee this week is for Mr. Freeman. I don't know if this is doable. I think it is, and he's very talented in this field. I'm sure it will be, but it might take him a few goes, so it might take him a while. Can he do 100 keepy-uppies? It doesn't say whether it's a toilet roll or a football, or we'll leave it up to you. I'm sure it could be a football. It might help while you're doing that if you call the number out for each one, Mr. Freeman. It will just help with editing purposes afterwards. 2 challenges for next week. I'm sure they're both in school today, so they might even get them done today. Best of luck with it. And hopefully Mrs. Chadbourne and Mrs. Bunclark have had time to calm down. Maybe they've contemplated on what they've said and asked for God's forgiveness for all their nasty and hurtful words they've thrown our way this week. That's not the Bede's way. Just a reminder, school is open, it's operating. We've got access to every single member of staff. If you need help or there is something that you urgently need to ask or someone in your family needs help, particularly if you feel in danger or a situation that you're not really comfortable about, then do contact us. There's the Sharp system, obviously, and you can go online and contact any of these. Now, we just don't know how long this is going to last for. It could be that we don't go back to school until September. I think there's a bit of a review going on later today about whether this lockdown continues. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we might be able to get into school after the May holidays. That will just give us time to tidy loose ends and prepare for the move up and things like that. We just don't know. And so however long it lasts, we've just got to keep doing what we're doing, support each other. And maybe if you see something online that you think other people might be interested in, share it, drop us a line, because if you find it interesting, then probably other people will as well. So in terms of having a look and what's worth a look this week, you can have a look at Discovery Education. Most of us will be familiar with this screen because it's where we log into coding, and we normally at the login stage just click the coding option at the top. But as you can see beneath that, you've got the Espresso login, and if you click that using exactly the same password as what we do for coding, it will take you into Espresso from Discovery Education, and it's split into categories of areas for the teacher, Foundation, Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. And there are loads of activities. Some school base their entire curriculum on the wealth of information that's on this particular website. So you could perhaps click on your key stage and you will find loads and loads of activities, challenges, projects, national projects, covering all the major subjects, as well as games and various activities, daily challenges, things like that. And once a week they do the team up with ITN to deliver News Bites, which is like a 1-minute summary of everything that's going on in the world, delivered to us in a child-friendly way. And rather than get upset or distressed by everything that's going on and the news channels that you could tune into, keep up to date, watch that 1 minute, and then you're in the know. So hopefully you've got your pen and paper ready because it's quiz time. But before we do this week's quiz, we need to look back at the answers from last week. And if we take a quick look, question 1, the answer was Toyota. Question 2, that was Philip J. Fry. The film poster was Ready Player One. That mascot is Skillsy, and I'm sure he'll be back for Euro 2021. His former member of staff was Mr. Bratt. The outline was Australia. The Jungle Book was written by Rudyard Kipling. John Boyega was the actor. It was the flag of Brazil. And the sequence was days of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we were looking for S S for Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully you worked that out. Now, who won? Well, in the spirit of transparency and open and honesty, there's the screenshot of the email list that came through. And as you can see, the Hater family were the first one to come through at 10:52, and taking them in the order that they were presented on the email, because there were two attached on the same email, Olivia was the first. Remember, this is for a gold coin. It's worth playing for. However, Olivia, I'm really sorry. I'm going to have to stick to the rules and be quite strict, because quite specifically last week, the question number 2 did say we want the full name, including the middle initial, and you just put Fry. So unfortunately, we can't award the coin to you. So we go next in line to Charlie, brother Charlie, and he went a little bit further, but he put Fry from Futurama, and that's not correct. All the others were right, but you slipped up on that one, I'm afraid. So we have to go back to the next, and it came through at 11 o'clock. Very prompt, working out and emailing it in, very, very quick, very impressive. And that came in from Alana, and as you can see, Alana did put Philip J. Fry, but unfortunately number 5 is not Mr. Booth. It's Mr. Bratt. Very easy mistake to make too. It's a very similar looking gentleman. I can see why you did that, but it's Mr. Booth. He's in the office now. Mr. Bratt is no longer with us. So unfortunately, you don't get the coin. So we have to go back to the list again, and just pipping Esme, as you can see there, only by 4 minutes. Hard luck, Esme. The correct one, first full correct one to come through, was from Archie. Got them all right, all in the right order, everything that was required. So Archie gets the coin, and as you can see, Archie, that puts you in 4th place on the Gold Coin League. I guess if you can just win the quiz every week, you might end up winning the whole thing. So eyes down, hopefully you got your pens at the ready. Here we go for this week's quiz. Here come the 10 questions. Question 1, what is the capital of Poland? Question 2, in what city would you find the stunningly beautiful Taj Mahal? Question 3, whose logo is this? Question 4, this is rock hard. This junior boxer, who did he grow up to be? Question 5, this is the flag of where? Question 6, who wrote The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe? Question 7, who is this former member of staff? Question 8, you might know this as Principal Seymour Skinner, but what is his real name? Question 9, this is the football logo of which club? And question 10, what was special on 2002-2020 420? Don't rush it, but speed and accuracy are important here. Get your answers written down, maybe type them up, whatever you want to do. Send your entry in to gsharp@stbedescatholicprimary.co.uk. There is a gold coin up for grabs. The lines will close later today, but you saw how quickly last week's entries came in. Someone will already probably be typing right now and getting their answers in. So it's if you're watching live and you can get involved, send them in. So that's it for another week. Keep busy, keep active. Please send all your work in. We'd love to see your artwork and your written work, as well as your fun photos. Maybe you see some funny video clips that you want to share. Any ideas for projects that we could do as a whole school, or websites that are worth a visit. Please keep them rolling in. Remember, you can send your schoolwork to your teachers, and then some fresh stuff to us here on SBTV at these particular web addresses. So remember the weekly challenge, magic tricks. Maybe you might have to spend some time on YouTube looking them up, practice them, perform them. This is all about how spectacular is your trick and how well is it delivered. That's what's going to be the major factor in judging this, to decide who wins it. Don't forget we'll meet again. If your family is crazy enough to be involved in it, you don't have to sing. You heard Mrs. Wassell. Get involved. Go on. I'll put it on right now. Go on to Facebook. Sign your family up. Say, we'll take line, whatever, the next one that's available. Please get involved. If you can get them done reasonably quickly, it will help. Have a great week. Look after each other. Stay safe. Stay at home. And I'll see you next Friday.